Martin Bashir, South Central LA Tea Partiers, apparently are all racist and selling out, quote, Negroes, and Chris Matthews and Howard Feynman, flat earthers don't believe in science, and the budget battle is apartheid. Audio you can't miss.
A bunch of stories here from cable news, as you just outlined, and in fact, there's a new poll out. This is a Facebook poll. Most popular cable news person is, interestingly enough, not a cable news person.
Isn't it really strange?
Yeah, it is weird. Somebody named Glenn Beck, formerly of Fox News Channel, this is most popular cable news person.
This is really quite amazing. These are the likes.
That's really cool.
On Facebook. Over 2 million for me.
Look at it. Wasn't even close. 2 million for Glenn Beck. Sean Hannity, 794,000.
Nancy Grace, 786.
Anderson Cooper, then Bill O'Reilly.
Then it falls off. After Bill O'Reilly, which is at 455.
Jane Valdez Mitchell?
Yeah, is at 96,000.
I've never heard of Jane Valdez.
But here's the amazing thing. The 2 million for me, most popular cable news person. I'm not on cable news. Mm-hmm. I'm not on cable news. We're about to...
Where are you? Where are you going to be?
We're about to reinvent it. So here's the thing. Why would we possibly ever leave cable news? Well, let me start with Martin Bashir. Here's Martin Bashir. Cable News, MSNBC.
His 1,500-page manifesto, Anders Behring Breivik liberally quotes a small group of American bloggers and writers, men who are not subtle in what they say is the cultural threat of Islam. Moreover, Breivik copied multiple passages from the writings of the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, who, like Breivik, spent years writing and plotting his attacks. Yet, if a man in his 30s in a place like Oslo, Norway, can be so easily influenced by extremist American thinking, then is it only a matter of time before we see similar violent acts here on American soil?
Oh, well, of course.
Evan Coleman is an NBC News terrorism analyst and a senior partner at Flashpoint Global Partners. And Evan, this young man was clearly influenced by American writings, at least according to what he says. But how strong is this kind of anti-multiculturalism here in this country?
Well, look, I think it's fair to say that the multiculturalism, the anti-multiculturalism that we see in Europe is different than we see here. But at the same time, let's turn back the clock to last summer.
All right.
And let's remember the debate that's been taking place since then. We've seen protests here in New York outside the Park 51 complex saying that Islam is coming to take over America and that this can't be built.
They're talking about the 9/11 Ground Zero Mosque.
It has nothing to do with anti-culturalism.
Come on.
I mean, you could say, what about the anti-Israeli rallies that have happened here? Could. Anti-Jewish rallies that have happened.
Anti-banking, anti-Wall Street.
You name it. You name it. By the way, the anti-culturalism movement in Europe, what I like to call that is Angela Merkel, Gordon Brown. What's the Frenchman's name?
Sarkozy.
Sarkozy. They're the ones that are saying anti-culturalism doesn't work. I mean, multiculturalism doesn't work.
No.
So please, it's not a right-wing extremist idea.
Seen protests down in Murfreesboro where a mosque was
attacked. We've had Peter King's hearings on Islamophobia and the influence of Islam.
Not hearings. Not hearings.
What about the shooting of our soldiers here in our own country?
Unreal.
Showing up in political rallies in Arizona, carrying assault rifles. Look, I mean, it's not that much of a jump from that to this. And I think this is the problem.
It isn't. Okay, stop. There's reason number one, you cannot be on cable news anymore. Here's cut 426. Here's reason number two. It's Chris Matthews and Howard Feynman.
I think it's part of this flat Earth society. Doesn't believe in science. Doesn't believe in human history. Doesn't believe in global change, global climate. Nothing.
What's going on here, as I see it, is a kind of slow motion secession. This is an ending of the social compact. This is three generations worth of agreement about Social Security, about Medicare, about the role of the federal government. The Tea Party people are saying, we want to secede from that society.
Okay,
yes, please.
Yes,
please.
Yes, we do. He's got a two-decade movement. Excuse me, Howard. This country is over 2 decades. I mean, it's older than that. This is a new compact, and we changed those things. We tried it. It doesn't work. It's destroying our country. Yes, please. A slow motion secession. First of all, we're not the ones saying that we should fundamentally transform the United States of America. That wasn't our slogan. That's not a Tea Party slogan. That was the president's slogan. He is seceding from the traditional America. That is his stated goal, Howard. So, yes, slow motion secession. I guess from the Tea Parties, if that's the direction you're going, yes, then the rest of us are saying, I don't want any part of that.
The way to do it is to draw the line on spending and taxes, to starve the federal government so that it loses power.
Stop.
So that we aren't.
Who thinks that a federal government having more and more power is a good thing? Who really thinks that? Who really thinks that starving the federal government of overspending is a bad thing? They don't have the money. So, yeah, I think starving them of the cash that they don't have is probably a good thing.
Part of the social compact anymore. And that's the real argument that's going on. And the Congress as an institution is incapable of dealing with that kind of fundamental argument, which is given in the entitlement age and the welfare state age, which is why you have the super committees and the super duper committees and the smaller and smaller ring of people attempting to decide something.
You know what it sounds like?
You hear what I'm saying?
When I spent 2 years in Southern Africa, it sounds like what the whites talked about doing. Eventually, going into some sort of little circle like the Custer's Last Stand against the United States.
I wouldn't put a racial tone on it, but I would say that the Congress is not dealing with a fundamental question here.
Chris Matthews would put the racial tone on it and compare it to apartheid in South Africa.
Yeah, not a problem with apartheid, is it?
No, no. Remember, very, very similar to that.
He forgets a lot of times the color of the people. That he's
at least
watching.
once.
Yeah, I know.
At least one time.
Okay, so it's apartheid, which is strange because apartheid now being attached to Tea Parties. We have Jesse Jackson on the Blaze. You see this video. He's also saying that African Americans need to rise up. So it's exactly what the Weather Underground called for. So rise up. It's apartheid. That's what they're saying about Israel as well. Israeli apartheid. I'll show you apartheid. It's called South Africa. That was apartheid. Now we have this. Critics of the L.A. Tea Partiers. Listen.
What is it you don't like about the South Central LA Tea Party? Okay, well, first of all, the racism is one of the main things. That's the main thing. Okay. Now, why do you think it's racist? Well, it's racist because you hate the president because he's black, and you think the white race is superior. So that's racism.
Okay, stop. That is the definition of racism.
Yes. When has any Tea Party ever said that?
When has anybody shown anything that they believe that?
Show me the sign that says, I hate the president because he's black.
Show me the person that says that even in their actions. I hate him because he's black.
And the white guy standing next to him holding the sign, whites are superior. I've not seen any of that from the Tea Party.
Care less. How could I possibly hate the president because he's black, but I'm trying with everything in me to get Alan West to run for president?
Well, that's because he's not a real black person.
Exactly. So who is racist here and who is not? All right. So this is the kind of upside-down world that we're living in.